Hi, I'm Tony Krumlusk. There are no songs in this video. There's a link to all of those in the comments box. It's just a reminder for those who might have difficulty in fingering some chords like B flat or E, that all basic major, minor, augmented and diminished chords only require three notes: a root, a third and a fifth, forming what's known as a triad, the basis of all chords. If you're not sure about this, see my video on how chords are built. The ukulele, however, has four strings. So what about the fourth string? Well, normally the extra fourth string repeats or doubles one of those three notes. Notes with just a single letter are assumed to be major, so looking at the major chord of C major, for example, you can see it's got two C's an octave apart. C here and C here. Same note, but an octave apart. But still the same notes of the chord. G, C, E and C. The same is true for the G chord. That's made up of the notes G, D, G again and B. So you've got a G here and a G here. This time there's the same pitch. It doesn't matter if it's a high or a low G, incidentally. Similarly, the chord of A has two A's. It's got the notes A, C sharp, E and A. So there's an A here and an A here. The chord of F, as another example, it's also got two A's. An A here and an A here. But this time that's the third. Doesn't matter which of those notes is doubled. Any one of the three notes forming a triad, the root, the third or the fifth, can be doubled. So all of these chords can be played perfectly well using just the three strings. You don't have to have two of the same note. Moreover, the finger shapes can be moved up or down the fingerboard to form other chords. For example, the chord of A can be moved up a semitone. You have to then move this one as well, change the fingering. That becomes the chord of B flat. Remember, don't play the top string. Move it up one more and that's the chord of B. Move it up again and that's the chord of C. That sounds the same as this. Same chord. Notice that sometimes the extra note can be part of the chord. In B, for example, the open string there is the seventh of the chord, so that becomes a B7, which is quite useful. But normally, more complex chords need four notes. This can also work with using the top three strings and missing the fourth string out. So if that's a chord of A, we miss out that one, don't bother with that, just play this one. And you've got C sharp, E and A. A, C sharp, E, chord of A. Again, move it up. This time you need to cover those two notes with a little barré. And that's the chord of B flat. One fret higher, B. One fret higher, C. Don't play the fourth string. Just miss it out. Like that. The C shape is another example. The C shape, the open strings gives you a C chord, as I've said many times in these videos. Our extra note gives you a C6. It's a G, C and an E. Now if you then raise everything here by one semitone, you get a C sharp chord. Then you get a D chord, which is fairly well used, D sharp or E flat. And there's your E chord. Don't play the top string. I know some people have difficulties putting 3 fingers down. One solution is to use a little finger, but a better solution is to cover these 2 fingers, 2 strings with 1 finger, or to cover those 2 strings with 1 finger. If worst comes to the worst, you can always do that, but don't really recommend it. That makes it much easier to play an E chord rather than this difficult chord, which is an E chord, or using the bar at the 4th fret. The F shape can also be used in the same way. You can use the bottom 3 strings, or strings 4, 3 and 2 I should say. We always say the bottom string because they're supposedly lowest in pitch, but actually they're physically the highest up, which is always confusing. There's the F chord, A, C and F sharp. Miss out this one and you've got an F chord. Again, the F chord, the extra string here, is part of the chord, but once you move it up, this, moving that up there to that one there, you get it isn't part of the chord, so you can't play it. Just play the 3 strings. It gives you an F sharp chord, 1 fret high and you get a G chord, then you get an A flat chord, minor chords can also be used in the same way. Minor chords are those with a little lowercase m after them. I found the most useful shape to the D minor shape, which is this one. As it happens, you can play the 1st string open, it's part of the chord. But if you move it up one to that shape, you can't play that string because it's not part of the chord. It's an E flat minor. The notes are B flat, E flat and G flat. And 1 fret higher becomes an E minor. 1 fret higher is an F minor. And that's very useful because the F minor chord is quite tricky. Bit of a stretch there, so that's a lot easier to do. And again, you can play that with using the top 3 strings, strings 1, 2 and 3. So that becomes the D minor, A flat minor, just move it up 1 fret, and E minor, some more normal E minor, and again you can include that chord string, and an F minor. It's worth checking out all of these notes on the fingerboard chart that I've got here, and it's also very useful for playing melody harmony arrangements. If you haven't tried those yet, have a look at my beginner's guide to melody harmony. It's free to download from UKStuff site, and there's a link in the comments box. The full 4-string chords, I've got 2 videos also on movable bar chords, major, minor and 7th, and there's another video with tips for playing bar chords. But if you have difficulty with bar chords, 3-string chords gives you an alternative. Well, I hope you found that helpful and useful for finding chords that you might otherwise have difficulty finding. Anyway, whatever you do, don't get too bogged down with theory. Just enjoy playing the ukulele and have fun.